gals. Welcome to another cold winter morning. Whew. I hope y'all are faring better than I am this morning. I've been out twice already to take the trash out and to get the car started for the wife. And I'm telling you what, you can't even tell that I was out there an hour ago to take the trash out. It's snowing so hard. They forecasted 3 to 6 inches of lake effect snow. The storm went from 7:45 last night till I think it's 1:45 a.m. tomorrow morning, and we've already got over 6 inches out there. So, though they were right that we got lake effect snow, no, they were not right on the amount of lake effect snow. Uh, who do we got in here already? Let me see if I can. Uh, um, it's Tony. Good morning, sir. Hope y'all are faring over in Illinois just a little bit better than we are. We were supposed to have that minus 30, 35 wind chill um, starting overnight last night and going through tomorrow morning. It's 16 degrees right now. No serious wind chill. I mean, I think we're probably maybe right at zero with the wind. Just never know. Never know. Let me see here. What's he say? It is not snowing here, but it is according to the truck. Wind chill is minus 19. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just went out like this to start the car and feed the kitties and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, before there was any light in the sky, it's cold. It was cold. This wind and the snow and everything, like I said, is supposed to keep up through tomorrow morning. So we'll see what happens. So it is new battery time. It's a new battery time for the truck. Yeah, I was really surprised. We didn't go out and start the Explorer yesterday. Um, and she didn't even know if it would start today. There's a power drain somewhere. No one can figure it out. Even the former owners couldn't figure it out. They've replaced the battery, they've replaced the alternator. I personally think since the alarm on it with the blinking light and the windshield, since that didn't come factory, um, whoever hooked it up wrong, and that's why there's a power drain um, on it. Like I said, the former owners have checked into it. Uh, they took it out to an automotive electrician. They couldn't figure out the power drain. It's just if you, she can't even plug in her seat warmer and leave it on after about 3 or 4 hours of just the seat warmer being on. The car won't start. Has to be jumped. So we got a jump box from a friend of ours. She keeps it in behind the driver's seat. Still no heater in it. I mean, that's $100 part plus an outrageous frickin' amount of labor. Anyway, what they're wanting to charge is an outrageous frickin' amount. We love going to this one certain place next town over. They do all of our oil changes. They're fast. They're cheap. Good people, good garage. But because of having to remove the entire center console, having to remove the lower part of the dashboard, get up way up behind almost behind the radio and stuff to get this um, heater. It's a frickin' plastic box about yay big, and it's got some gears in it that open the door on the top of the blower to allow the hot air to come out. And apparently, some of the gears are broke in it, and it won't open the door. The door just sits there and flaps and won't release any heat. And some kind of capacitor or some dumb crap. But yeah, it's almost, well, they said somewhere between $700 and $800 total to replace this thing. So with their inflamed prices for parts, you're probably looking at $150 or $200 for the part, and then anywhere between $500 and $600 in labor. If we go out and buy the part, it's only $100. So, yeah, not needless to say, she has a lot of cold rides till we can figure out how to get this thing taken care of. Let me see here. The current battery is 6 years old. Aftermarket shit can be problematic. Yeah, really. Blend door actuator. Blower door actuator. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Blower door actuator. I'll tell you what, you can tell it's cold because this furnace is working overtime to keep this house, and you can tell the wind's coming from this direction, so we've got all the windows on the front of the house going out that way. And this furnace, since I woke up at 4, this furnace has barely stopped running. It is hotter than the devil's sack in this place, especially in this room. It is definitely warm. Of course, sitting in here drinking hot coffee probably don't help any, but yeah. Of course, it's supposed to be trash day. Not heard a trash truck yet, so I risk being molested by penguins and stuff, taking the trash can out to the road, you'll watch. They won't even come today. It's a holiday again. I mean, they made Martin Luther King Jr. Day a holiday again this year. So they're just looking for one more excuse to not have to work. I think they normally have 5 days to do 3 towns, and have to work until 6, 7 o'clock at night. And when they take these extra holidays and stuff like that, um, they have to work even later all week long instead of just one day. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I personally think since hydraulics don't like to work in super cold weather, that they didn't come out today because it was supposed to be, minus 35. And they roll around with, you know, a very small, compact cab and have to have windows open on one side and a door open on the driver's side when they're driving through town. So I think it was probably the temperature thing that made them not want to work and not the holiday thing. These guys very rarely take 4th of July off. I mean, Memorial Day, Labor Day, they work pretty much all of them. Now, they take Christmas, Thanksgiving, stuff like that. But yeah. Yeah, I know your trash was supposed to run today. Um, Hard telling. We'll see what happens. Oh, there's another message. I pity those poor truckers that ride on the back of the garbage trucks. Around here we don't have them. Um, the trash pickup here, like with most small towns, is a city contract. Now, to get a, a driver to actually get out of their truck, you have to have a personal contract with the trash company. But on a city contract, they only pick up what's in your can or what you can stack on top of your can. If they blow stuff off your can and it falls in the road, or they rip a bag open and it blows all over the place, they don't get out and pick it up. They do not get out of their trucks on a city contract. On a personal contract, you can have 2 trash cans and I think up to 4 bags sitting on the curbside beside your trash cans. On the city contract, you can only have 1 trash can and whatever you can fit in it. So, yeah, which is why per person city contracts are actually cheaper than personal contracts because they have to work more on a personal contract. So, oh, I want to apologize for last week, and I'll probably do this many, many, many times throughout the stream. All of this crazy crap going on, uh, all this crazy crap going on had me so depressed last week. All I did, not to mention the fact I was already ill um, from the week before. I couldn't get motivated. I couldn't do anything. I even worked on one of the videos that I do through the week. Well, two of them. I worked from bed. I couldn't. I just couldn't. I couldn't get motivated to get up. I mean, between being ill and being depressed over all this stuff going on, up in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and now, most recently, as of Saturday, Grand Rapids, Michigan, as of Sunday, Indiana. Um, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. A bit of a bit of fellowship, a bit of fellowship should help. I do agree. I do agree. And I feel better. There's not been super nasty crap, besides what Putin said the other day about, Greenland. That kind of put me back in that depressed mood. Um, to quote the to quote him, if America invades Greenland, he will end the world. So, all these military strategists and stuff like that says why would Russia or China destroy America when you know it's good land, it's good farmland, it's good cities, it's good everything. They thought they would attack the power grid and take it out and then just leave Americans ready to surrender without a fight. But, after that statement of his, I kind of, not to mention the fact that, there have been attacks on schools, there have been attacks on kids um, uh, playing at school, there have been, I shouldn't say attacks, I should say raids. I've already told my daughter she's not even going outside if we catch wind that they're in the area. With what they done with the boys at the store the other day, going in, taking two 17-year-olds, not checking IDs, not checking if they're citizens, not doing anything, then they just drop one of them off 8 miles away at a Walmart and expect him to know where the hell he's going. He don't drive. He's walking. And I've been told don't pay any attention to certain news outlets and stuff like that. And I've been watching all of them. I am completely non biased on my news outlets now. I watch them all, and they all have the same story. So, and after the shooting thing 2 weeks ago up there, and the fact that we're hearing on the news from officials, oh, got ran over and she turned into him and stuff like that, and then we watch they actually paid a video analysis company to view the videos, and they proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he stuck his hand out and her SUV hit his phone in his hand, but he was this far away from, her car, so he never got hit. They were saying he had to go to the hospital. He had internal bleeding, and people that followed them when they ushered him out of there said they took him back to his house, and he started carrying boxes out right away, and they moved him to a different location. He didn't go to the hospital. He didn't have internal bleeding. So, what are you supposed to believe? I mean, seriously, what are you supposed to believe when something like this happens? I can't help but wonder if this is the beginning of that civil war that we heard so much about over the last couple years. Um, a come on, as to the showing shootings. There was a video that a bystander see, and I don't know. I don't know about these videos and stuff. I know that the non-biased video professional that um, studied a video coming from the front of her vehicle that was shot. He said if you look at it in its regular frame, it looks like she hit him, but if you zoom in, then it shows that she completely missed his body and hit his hand because he stuck his hand out away from his body holding his phone. But they also showed that his hand was on his side piece before she ever started to move forward. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm staying out of it. All I know is that I'm extra cautious with my kid and stuff like that. I'm gonna stay out of it. You know how I am about politics. I'm just gonna stay out of it. I feel sorry for the world or for America right now as things are happening. Bye, honey. Have a good day. Be careful. There was a yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the video that they examined. They said they examined 7 different videos, um, but the one that was shot from the front of the vehicle and the whole shot from the front of the interaction. If you, like I said, if they said if you zoomed in and looked at it frame by frame, he was far enough backed up that you could see his reflection in the front quarter panel and stuff of her vehicle. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Oh, that blink thing didn't help. Everything blurred over for a second. Good news, though. Good news, good news, good news. As of Friday, the 16th of January, Friday, I officially have insurance. Yay me. Cost $261 a month, but I officially have insurance. So as soon as we get done here this morning, um, I'll be calling around looking for an optometrist that I can get to. My insurance don't go into effect though until February 1st. It is through Blue Cross, Yippee Ki and covers everything except dental, which I wasn't concerned about anyway. So, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So, hopefully, if I get an appointment made now by February 2nd or 3rd or something like that, I'll be able to get to an eye doctor and start working on, like I said, probably nothing that they can do here, but this one here I think is salvageable. Now we just have to worry about the fact that it is not cataracts and it's something else that they can actually work on. We're pretty sure that it is cataracts, but hey, if I was a doctor, I wouldn't be sitting here right now with cheap coffee, no sugar, no cream, and whining about the price of hamburger. So, I did get one more thing about um, the guy in charge, the Orange Wonder. Um, he done that speech last night and was talking about how food prices are coming down, gas prices are coming down. People all over the world are loving us and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm watching it on TikTok about an hour after everything happened, and I'm like, where's food prices coming down? Our hamburger came down for like 3 days and went straight back up again to like $7 or $8 a pound. Just regular cheap crappy hamburger. The wife was actually just going to buy enough hamburger the other day to make me a couple of hamburgers, and she said it was going to be like $13 for enough for two hamburgers and or three hamburgers, and I'm like, no, no, no. I mean, even chicken's gone up. She was looking at chicken the other day, and it's $5 something a pound for chicken. They're like, what the hell, man? It is a fairly single procedure as far as I know. Oh, yeah, it is. Jan had it done here a couple of years ago. And, she had to, I don't want to sit around, but I know that she had to, like, be very careful for a few days after she got home. But yeah, it was my mom had what is it, corneal replacements or something like that done here a few years ago, and she said she had to wear eye patches for or gauze for like 3 or 4 days afterwards. But yeah, they both said that it's relatively easy. You know, like I said, hopefully that's what it is. It's cataracts and, you know, but I'm not worrying about it. I'm looking forward to 2026. You know, I've got you guys to take care of and stuff like that. Middle of May, I've got the Niles Renaissance Fair to look forward to, you know, and I'm going to try to get out and do more reenactments and stuff this year. Um, you know, waiting on paperwork from my attorneys for the disability thing. Sadly, you know, my lawyer has discussed going after my previous employers for wrongful termination, violation of ADA law, and stuff like that. You know, so I don't know. Um, I'm Hey Jan, good to see you, love. Hope you're doing good. Oh, let me see here. My grandma had cataracts surgery and yeah, I can't see that. I'm getting a bunch of blurry lines. Um, Gusting ready or no, wait. Getting ready to head to the new property for inspection. I was going to actually send you a message later today and ask you when you guys were moving and stuff like that. So and there's the wife back. That's weird. I broke out my oh come on eyes. I broke out my ham radio gear last week. That's cool. It is time to prepare for potential communications failures in the near future. Yes. Let me go check with the wife and see what's going on. She should be on her way to work right now. So that's kind of scary. I'm wondering if maybe she can't get the east west roads because they've not plowed them yet. But this stuff blowing like it is, God only knows. I'll be right back. All right, bud. Boy, did I call that one. so cold right now in her car. She said she couldn't stop shaking. She's sitting there and she's trying to drive like this, which is, causing the car to do that. And she said she started going down her east west road, which is about 7 miles of country driving, and a lot of it is open field. She said it is blowing so bad she can't see where the road ends and the ditches began. Said she got down to the very first crossroad and it was so bad that she couldn't see the crossroad. It was just white, white walls on both sides. So she's back home. There goes my relaxing day. It's kind of funny. I figured being in an enclosed vehicle with a heated seat. I mean, granted, no heater. She has to keep the cool air blowing to keep the window from fogging up, so from her hot breath. But I figured it wouldn't be as bad. I mean, since I was out there outside like this in the wind and everything. But what are you gonna do? Oh, let's get back down here. Um, the new place. The new place is 25 acres. Already getting a plan together for the permaculture of the homestead. Good idea. I'd be spending a lot of time sitting down with some sketch paper and or an aerial photograph of the property or something and sketching in where I want everything to go. Buy heirloom seeds soon. Already have them. Excellent. Excellent. We'll also be growing our own sorghum. The situation in the country is getting to the point that I am getting concerned. Yeah, tell me about it. Do you know how to process sorghum? Oh, yeah. Once I get this disability thing through, uh, I think we're getting rid of the old sheds. We're getting rid of about 90% of the stuff in the sheds. Um, I may move the jailhouse away from the fence and actually build a chicken coop there against the fence, and start doing some chicky things. Just the way that things are getting in this country, you need to do something. So if we have to live on chicky and eggs and homegrown veggies for a while, yep, I'm talking about doing planter boxes because the land here that we're sitting on is so rocky that I mean, the only available space we have is where the old house used to sit, and it's so packed and rocky and everything that we have to do planter boxes. There's no way we can get anything to grow um, in that ground. But hopefully now that the insurance is coming into effect here in about a week or week and a half, I can get the eye thing taken care of. I know I can get on my doctor's visits and everything and get the information that my attorney needs to get this thing rolling. So, 2026, 2026, our year, our year. I wish I could enlarge this viewing field. I thought about trying to plant sorghum, but the processing put off that idea. Down the street from us now has a lot on a half acre, and Jay has helped him process his sorghum. Then look what a real path. Yes, but I do love molasses, especially blackstrap. Johnny just. Okay, I'm not even going to try anymore. It's giving me a headache. But yes, for those of you who came in late, um, I did get insurance as of the 16th. It will not go into effect until February 1st. So, you know, finally things are looking up. Um, Not financially, but beggars can't be choosers. You you find your silver lining where you can find it. Anyway, that's what I keep telling the wife. She's not believing it, but that's what I keep telling her. Should I type in all caps? I don't know. Might help. I read that pretty easy without having to mask my eye over even. Our friend is on his com- computer. We we spent 'cause I ain't gonna stop talking or typing. Drew, I will send you pictures by text. Cool. I can't wait to see them. Adult pics, just 'cause I could give my email at Ew. Wait, that's a new face. Hold on. Blue Moon, good morning. No, it was a joke. Don't worry. It was just a joke. You got to understand, Tony. Oops. I will try to type in caps from now on. Keep it classy. I did not say nude. Well, with me since the eye thing started, adult pics would be people going out working because I feel like the kid right now spending time here at home with her and her having to help me do things. Um, so yeah, I guess in a sense, adult pics would be just pictures of people working. Something I don't get the chance to do anymore. I, daughter put away the dishes yesterday, and I went out to wash dishes, and I was just staring out the window while I was washing, and the wife come out and asked me how in the hell I can do dishes without seeing the dishes. And I'm like, you feel. It don't do me any good to look at the sink because I can't see what's what. It's it's a big white blur with a bunch of different colored blurs in it. So it's either that big white blur or it's looking out the window at a big white blur. What do you do? It it is really funny watching me sweep the kitchen floor though, sweep the linoleum because I'm making piles of dirt and leaves and whatever on the linoleum. But then I move to a different part of the kitchen and I start sweeping and I can't remember where I put that first pile of dirt at to get them all combined together to sweep them up and put them in the trash. That's funny because I get so frustrated walking around and I get down on my hands and knees and I start filling for piles of dust and dust bunnies and stuff like that. So, I told her, we've only got two videos on our TikTok. One of them is, her getting that can ring stuck on her finger that I had to help her get off, um, which, thousand some odd views on that. And then there was an advertisement for one of our ghost hunting videos that I put on there. But I told her, I said, be perfect thing to put on our TikTok page is watching, videoing the blind guy trying to do housework. Especially the other day when I was picking up a pile of clothes to put it in the washer, and Ralph was laying on the pile of clothes. That wouldn't have been funny. But I mean, what do you do? Let me see here. We like to joke a lot here. Yeah, we all pick on each other. That is for sure. Um, Howdy. Colored blurs. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, oh, colored. Yeah, colored, like different colors. Thank goodness it won't be much longer. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Hoping to start moving into the new place February 1st. Very cool. How is Ralphie? Ralphie will be 7 years old this. No, yeah, Ralphie will be 7 years old this year. Um, Still fat and sassy, just like he's always been. Got my. Wait, what was that? Oh, got my income tax filed Friday. That's a good thing. Um, Good news there will be a bit of replenishment to the savings after Christmas emptied it. We're waiting for our whatever from the government. I love that cat. Oh, speaking of which, wanted to let you know since you guys didn't make it up to visit in 2025, our big pharmacy uptown, right across from the store, is now a liquor store, and they have got about 25 different um, moonshine brands up there. Everything from the orange dreamsicle to peanut butter to um, grasshopper to cherry to chocolate to everything. Plus, they've got about 15 generic brands of it up there and stuff. And the stuff is cheap. I mean, probably not cheap from, going down home and, buying it straight from the producer, but it's pretty cheap. I actually, I went out, Christmas Eve, and the wife, surprised me and said, "Go on and grab you a bottle of something for the holidays," and I got me a large bottle of Bailey's, and paid less than $25 for a big bottle of Bailey's, and you know, I use that for my coffee. I use it for sitting around playing cards or whatever. I was really surprised. I was really surprised. Plus, they have got a buttload, probably 5 or 6 hundred different shooters, and they've got a lot of the moonshines. They've got the Baileys. They have got the salted caramel. They have got everything, everything. The rum chatas. This place is big. I mean, it's the entire pharmacy. If you guys remember that Rite Aid that sat there, that place was huge on the inside, and they didn't waste any room. It is like 1/4 warehouse, and the rest of it is all for sale items. I was blown away. Blown away. Not just blown away. Um, what? Let me see. Wow. We set a limit, $100 per grandchild for gifts, and went 140 per times by. We don't even spend that on our daughter and her husband. Um, I don't even want to talk about Christmas. I got a pack of cards and my bottle of Bailey's. Uh, and the wife got an antique ceiling fan. Yeah, that was fun. My sister and her husband are actually remodeling their house. They've already spent probably 20 grand remodeling the house, but they wanted to get all the antique brass and glass painted globe ceiling fans down and put brand new remote deals up. So I managed to bring home one of the antique ceiling fans when I came back from Thanksgiving. And I hid that thing for a month and told the wife, I said, well, maybe this will help with the old middle-aged, warm, flashy things you're going through every day. If you have a ceiling fan hanging above the bed, maybe then I won't have a bloody damn fan blowing from an open window on me all night long. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. The spring, I'll end up getting it put up. Hopefully, by then, my sister comes up for a visit and brings the other two ceiling fans, and I can get my son up here to help me. And we'll just hang all three of them. We're going to put one in the kitchen, one in the living room, and one in our bedroom. So, yeah. Oh, I got a friend of ours in Washington State sent his sent us helmets that we to wear while riding the quad. That's a good idea. I got a clever and some utensils and an insulated cup that my missus stole. There you go. Regifting theft items is always nice. That, just so you know, that's still considered receiving stolen property. So, guess my will have to get a side by side because guess Jay will have to get a side by side because we ain't riding my quad. I tell the kids, um, don't buy for me. I buy stuff I want, so to spend any monies on the kids. See, that's what I like to do. Um, her and I had that talk a few years ago about, you know, spending money on each other. Of course, I always spend money on her, or I find something, I'm given something that I want to give her. She's been after ceiling fans for years. And when I found out that these things were only like 10 years old and they were still in absolutely immaculate condition, um, they sent the tape, they sent the wire caps, they sent everything with me to be able to put these ceiling fans up, or this one ceiling fan up. The only bad thing is the fact that since I have no money, um, she spends money on the kids and the granddaughters and stuff like that, and anything I want, I just go do without because I don't have any money to spend on myself. I'm looking around right now for a piece, probably the last piece to my Viking attire. Um, and I can find it on, like, Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that, but I can't afford it because I don't have any money. No money. I'll figure it out. I've got the word out right now to our Facebook groups and stuff like that do Viking and do the Ren Fair that I do and do some of the other Ren Fairs, that I'm looking for chainmail shirt and a coif to go with my outfit, since I got that now. So, and I'm not shaving this anymore, and I've got all this shaved, and I'm letting the cap right here grow long so I can tie it back. Um, Plus, first of next month, I have to call Bangor, Michigan, home of the Vikings, and find out if they actually want to do a festival or want Vikings at their city festival. They have a really nice meat house up there. Um, Two friends put together here a few years ago, and they do amazing business. They The last time I was up that way, they had about 15 different kinds of in-house mead. You could either buy it and take it out, or you could drink it there in the mead house. Um, so I don't know. Got a lot of things in the plans. Oh, I was. Damn, now I got the hiccups. Oh, ouch. Even we will spend money on. Oh, wait. Grandkids. I was totally shocked that Jay bought me the Blackstone griddle I have been asking for about 4 years. My missus wants a Blackstone griddle at her work Christmas party. Have to head off for picking up my cousin along the way. All right, Jan, you be careful, sweetie, and I look forward to seeing those pictures of the property and stuff. Just be careful out there. She gave it to a co-worker that didn't have much or Christmas due to health issues. I have a cast iron griddle. I have cast iron griddles here. I've got one small cast iron griddle. It's actually even too small to put on my campfire. I mean, it's only maybe 12 or 14 inches long by 8 inches wide. Um, I'm trying to find a griddle that I can suspend from my iron set, my fire iron set, on S hooks, um, or that I can set on the grill top that goes over my. But it's so small it don't even come close to fitting on the one I have. My mother-in-law, God bless her heart, she bought it for me here a few years ago, and it doesn't even fit the over two elements on the gas stove. But it's one of them Pioneer Woman griddles, teeny tiny little thing. And but it's so small that to get even heat on it, I have to sit it in the center of my fire iron, and then I burn all the hair off my arms and stuff trying to flip stuff on it. So yeah, you know, it works. I've got like a spot this big that'll cook on it when I put it on the stovetop, and I got a spot about this big, and then like I could almost put my hand on it in between the two. So I have to keep moving things. It takes 3 times longer to cook a hamburger on it than it does in a skillet. I can only cook half as many. I mean, I can cook twice as many hamburgers on it as I can in a skillet, but I can only cook them at half the time, or it takes double the time to cook them because the whole thing's not hot. But, you know, it's fun. Oh, all right, back down here. Um, oh, hell, I have one that is 6 diameter, so that is 3. One that is 6 inches in diameter. Oh, wow. So that's one thing I really have to work on is my iron set. Um, I want, and I've wanted one for years, and I can't find them where I can actually afford them. And that is one of the large, deep iron skillets, like the one that's like 18 or 20 inches across on the bottom, that I can, like, when I'm set up with a unit, everybody always wants me to cook because I love cooking. If you guys will remember here a few years ago, I was looking for an actual covered wagon setup that I could take the chuck wagon out to the Civil War events and, cook for the group. And I've always wanted one of those huge, deep skillets that I could cook eggs and sausage or bacon or whatever in all together. A buttload of gravy, you know, 10 pounds of fried taters. See what I mean? You see me flipping this thing around just trying to find the opening. Hell, I opened a bag of tortilla chips the other day. Opened the bottom of the bag up. Wife just sat and laughed at me. She said, "You can't tell up from down?" No, I can't see Jack Russell. What are you talking about? She said, "You spend a lot of time watching TV for someone that can't see." I said, "No, I spend a lot of time listening to TV for someone that can't see." I told her, what, yesterday, day before yesterday. I said, I'm really glad we don't have Paramount right now. She said, why? I said, because that brand new Star Trek Starfleet Academy premiered. I said, and I was born just a couple of years after Star Trek began. And, except for the original series, I have seen the premiere of every single Star Trek TV show and movie since 1970, or the mid 1970s. I said, with that thing premiering, if I could only sit and listen to it, as good as I hear that it was, I'm gonna be mad, not getting to see anything. She comes home from work at night. We get dinner together. We go to and turn on the TV, and she'll say, "What do you want to watch?" I said, "Everything." She said, "What do you want to listen to?" I said, "Don't matter." Hopefully, that issue is fixed here real soon. Um, oh, I have, oh, one that is 6 inches. My two are skillet sized and round. They might not be called griddles, but that is what they are used as. Oh, hush, puppy. I can't read that. God, I can. All right, I got to get even closer. I've been around for all of them. Um, ending. God, God's kingdom starts before 2031. Sure hope so. I sure hope it starts between 2030 before 2031. That's for sure. Because right now, this poor world needs something. It needs a little bit of togetherness. Needs a little bit of love. Needs a little bit of understanding, and needs a lot less tyranny. A lot less war. A lot less disbelief. A lot less. Or a lot more mercy. And that's the end of the coffee. Not too awful bad. That pot's lasted me 5 hours. So Can't complain. I was thinking about adding my humorous call sign to my name. So would Tony York TV9RAC be too much? um, just a little bit too much, I think. I mean, I was watching a guy yesterday, listening to a guy yesterday that does ham radios, and it, just the title made me think of you, Tony. So it was like, what was it like? Does my If I get out my old ham, do I need a license? And I guess it was his dad's ham radio, and this guy's only in his 20s or something like that. He's never used it before. He used to listen to it with his dad, but his dad never broadcasted. And basically, what the video was if you don't transmit on a ham radio, then you don't need a license to listen to it, because anything that gets tossed out in the thoroughsphere, be it a radio signal or a TV signal or whatever the case may be, uh, whoever can receive it can receive it. And that was his big concern is, do I have to get a ham radio license to listen on ham radio? And I guess in his state he does not need a ham license radio to listen to it, only if he transmits on it. But it's like he said too, the temptation's there, so he might as well just get the damn license. He might as well just get the license and have it in case he ever decides to transmit a response to somebody. Um, yes, if you transmit, one must have a license. Listening to a ham radio is no different than a shortwave. Yeah, that's what he figured out. But the title, when I seen ham and then license, I automatically thought of you. And it's like, dude, I wonder if he's sitting in his garage right now on his ham radio. But I figured if Illinois was anywhere as near as chilly yesterday, it's actually warmer today. And today is when the polar vortex was supposed to hit its apex here. And they said overnight our temperature was supposed to slowly drop down, and we were going to start seeing minus 30, minus 35 wind chills before daybreak. And we were only like, we only got up as high at 16 degrees yesterday. And when I got up this morning, it was, well, when I got up this morning, it was 9 degrees. And we're up to 11 right now. No, I take that back. When I got up this morning, it was 17 degrees, and it's dropped down to 11 with the wind warning still. So, but we didn't even hit 16 degrees until almost 4 o'clock last night. So I figured it was going to be much colder this morning. And like I said, we started off warmer than yesterday's high, and we've dropped down 6 degrees. So we'll see where we go. Because, like I said, that polar vortex was supposed to hit us last night and last through tomorrow, and we started the day warmer than we were for a high yesterday, which is exactly what it did yesterday. It started off like 15, 16 degrees, and then dropped down, and then went back up and steadied out at 16. And this morning it was 17, and it's dropped to 11. So we'll see if it goes back up as the day goes on. I am listening right now. Now there are different modes of ham radio. Basically, LF, HF, LF, HF, VHF, UHF, and microwave. Now, see, I didn't know that it had microwave or LF or HF. I knew VHF, UHF, and that was all I knew about. LF and low frequency. Yep. HF, high frequency, and so on. Huh. Wow, you learn something every day. We never had ham radios and stuff. Dad had a CB base that used to sit in our TV room in the 80s because he had a CB in the truck, and got me hooked on having a CB. I always had a CB. I even had a CB in my Camaro. And then when I was escorting truck drivers, oversized loads through Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, I had a CB so I could interact with the truck driver. But I've never played with a ham radio before, and it is a thing of interest. I'll be honest about it. It's a thing of interest. Difference in what I have going now is VHF and FM. So there isn't that squelch noise that I commonly associated with ham radios. CB is high frequency. Let's see, 11-meter band. I've noticed it is, 9:30 now? 9:25. We've not seen or heard from Zombie yet. I really hope he is safe. As a matter of fact, I might try to message him a little bit later and see where he's at and what he's dealing with and stuff. Um, I don't know if you guys uh, seen on your local news, but the other night when the snow hit, I think it was, what was it, the 14th or 15th? There was a huge pile up on the um, Indiana Toll Road the other night, like 30 cars. They were showing one person actually pulled off the side of the road when the conditions got so bad they couldn't see, and a trucker was slowing way down and crawling, and it was like this snow squall hit in this one area. And this other trucker and this big old Peterbilt come roaring up behind him and didn't know there was a snow squall ahead. And he got, like, I would say probably 20 or 30 feet behind this other 18 wheeler and curved real quick and hit the back quarter or back panel of his trailer. Just messed that whole back end up. He come over here, hit the center divider in the grass, and rolled to a stop and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess there was 30 cars, trucks, and 18 wheelers involved in that open area snow squall uh, pileup. And automatically wintertime, when you start thinking about mass vehicles, uh, we're automatically worried that somebody's got hurt. But then, at last report, the last thing I heard was there was no serious injuries out of all the vehicles. So, I was real thankful for that. But, our biggest pileup was a few years up here by Kalamazoo, and it was like 70 some odd cars, trucks, and 18 wheelers. That, I mean, just a chain reaction because you couldn't see because of the blowing snow, and they would just come right up and try to stop in time when they actually saw the pile up, and they just turned sideways and smashed right into them. There was some injuries in that one. Um, it was in 11-meter band. Ham is in high frequency, 10 meter, 12 meter, 15, 17, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 180. Ham is also in VHF, 900 megahertz, and up into microwave. This radio that is on here does 70 cm, 2 meter, 6 meter, and 10. Oh, wow. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how the things work. I have no clue. I mean, it's always been an interest. I think I had an uncle at one time. I remember him playing around with different radios and stuff in his house um, upstairs. There was only him and my aunt when the girls were still there. They had all three rooms upstairs that were all bedrooms, but the girls left and moved out of state and stuff. They just pretty much they took everything with them, so that left three empty rooms upstairs. And I seem to remember my uncle having two great big tables, and he had like different mics and radios and all over his upstairs. So beep beep, or well, I've got the volume turned down on it, so it's shake shake. The meter thing is the length of the wavelength of the band. That radio will also do CB 11 meter as well. Huh, very cool. Yeah, that's all I ever got a chance to play with was the old Cobra base station. I remember that thing like it was yesterday. It was 40 years ago. And that thing was like silver and baby blue. The mic was in, I mean, the thing was like that tall. It was a bass mic. You grabbed it and keyed up, but it was the same thing. It was silver and baby blue, had that black rubber spiral cord that plugged into the side of the Cobra. And I remember sitting on that thing for hours, sitting there for hours talking to truckers and stuff. And then, dad would key up when he was within like 5 mile from home, 4 mile from home, something like that. But of course, he had his CB, and my dad was real creative. He was a lot like you, Tony, or he is. He can't do the stuff anymore. But in his younger years, you remind me a lot of my dad. Because we didn't have cable or satellite and all that crap. We had a regular UHF VHF antenna up on top of a, a pyramid, or not a pyramid, a triangle pole, anchored in concrete outside, right in the corner of the house where the living room window and the dining room window was. And he had this thing strapped to the house, screwed to it, and then up on the overhang he had like long screws. And then this thing stood probably 20 feet above the peak of the house. And so I mean the tower itself was probably 40 or 45 feet. And he had the UHF VHF antenna mounted on top of that, and then he had his CB antenna mounted on top of that. So this thing was sitting 60 feet in the air. Used to love it. And then of course, after I moved out, they satellite. So he took the UHF VHF TV antenna down and mounted his satellite dish clear up on top of that. The guys that come and put that thing in frickin' hated it, because regardless of how many anchor screws, regardless of how deep in the ground, mounted in concrete, regardless what, when he got above those last lag bolts that he had that thing mounted to the overhang with, you got up there another 20 feet and you're just sitting up there doing this when there was a strong wind. Those guys were scared to death that damn pole was going to snap off and they were going to be going crashing into the ground. Mom was scared to death that the thing was going to snap off. They were going to come crashing through the dining room ceiling. I don't know what was worse for those guys, though. Initially mounting that thing up there, or when we had like a big storm and it moved the satellite dish, um, they had to come back out and climb up there and readjust it. I don't know what was worse for them. And they knew where the damn thing was mounted, but they always wound up sending some guy that weighed like 250 pounds to come out there and climb up that tower. I'll never get it. They can't send some skinny little dude up there to do it. They gotta send some Brahma bull of a dude out there to climb that tower, and it just always tickled me. Um, the dog's in here, Mister Dog. What's up, Ian? Good to see you, bud. The squelch noise grates on my tinnitus. I ain't that dang old. That's what I said, my dad in his younger years. Now my dad's what, 15 years older than you. He'll be 84. No, he'll be 80. He'll be 85 this year, which I know is still, like 15 years older than you. So that's why I said my dad in his younger years. You remind me of him in his younger years. Now he don't do anything. He goes out and works in his shed, sands and paints little lawn decorations for my mom or to sell, and fries his bacon out there. He's got a griddle. Little man's got a griddle. I think like 2 or 3 feet long. 18 inches wide. It's an electric griddle, but they'll get their bacon from my brother-in-law that delivers for U.S. food. He'll buy a case of bacon and send 15 pounds of bacon home with mom and dad. And dad'll pick a weekend. And he'll just go out in the shed, turn on his radio, and just fry bacon all day long. And, he'll divide it up into little 1 pound packages or a little half pound or whatever he wants to do. Take them in, put them in the freezer. That's about the limit of his exertion nowadays. Um, Besides, driving around and finding like little hand plows and shit like that, and taking them home and sanding them all down and painting them, and he'll either put them out in mom's front yard somewhere or set them up at the roadside and sell them. As long as he's staying busy, that's all I care about. Um, I had a 48-foot tower at the old house with 2-foot poles out of the top of the tower. So it was 60 foot to the antenna, which was 19 inches. Wow. I'll be 65. Okay, so he's 20 years older than you are. I got you. Since the cabin is off the table, I am thinking about erecting a tower here. Would like to go to about 100 feet due to the hole this place is in Morning. Hey, Bud Files. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying warm. You've been putting out some cute little videos lately. I've been liking your little shout out videos. You are so good about putting out those little shout outs and stuff like that. I've been thinking about doing the same thing, doing some shout out stuff, but so many people have got their content where they don't want it. I mean, you can share it out via the share thing, but I want to do these videos where I share out different people and I put snippets from their videos when I do the share out so people can experience what they do, what they talk about, and then decide if they want to go over and subscribe to them. There are just so many people that don't want people uh, using their footage and stuff. Me personally, I don't care. Um, hey, bud. Hey, bud. How are you? Oh man, I can just hear this wind outside. It is blowing like Billy be darned. I don't even want to think about having to go outside and do anything. I mean, I'm going to have to stay on top of the deck at least, keeping it, you know, shoveled off and stuff. So, like I said, they were only calling for 3 to 6 inches of lake effect for from last night through 1:45 or whatever tomorrow morning. And when I went out there before 7 o'clock this morning, there was already 6 inches out there. So then when I went out to start the car again a few minutes before 8 for the wife, everything was covered back up again. So I don't know. It's Michigan, so God only knows what we're going to wind up with. Um, Hold on, I got to get up there to see who that even is. Oh, Steven. Good morning, bud. I'm. I feel better. I mean, as you can tell with my voice, I'm still a little, but I'm feeling better. Trying to get everything caught up here, man. I thought having the second channel would be really cool and just completely separating, his history and historic mystery from all the paranormal stuff. And it's just more work. Like I announced in that video last Friday night, a couple of my videos I was working on laying in bed. Um, and over the weekend, I got to feeling a little bit better. And it's always worse in the mornings. I don't know what it is. It's always worse in the mornings. You would think after you slept all night, your energy levels should be back up. You come in, you have your coffee, you get yourself woke up. You would think you would feel better mid morning. around this time or a little bit earlier, if I'm not doing a live stream. No, no, I feel like crap in the morning and I feel like not as bad a crap in the afternoon. It's right before bed that I start to feel a little bit better and or want to get up and do things. And what do? You let it run its course and pray that things get better. At least I got my vitamins again, so I'm not going to complain about that. I do. At least I'm not having the cramps or the leg cramps and my shoulders and my fingers sitting here doing this crap when I'm trying to work on stuff. Um, so I feel better with that. At least I got my vitamins again. Ugh. Like I said, I'm watching and I'm putting the word out here of things I need to finish out um, my Viking gear. I got that. I got that Ren Fair coming up in about 4.5 months, and every year I try to improve my kit a little bit because not only am I out there representing the fair, but I'm doing security for them, and I'm representing Living History's Mysteries, and people don't want to see a crappy kit and a crappy camp when you're representing a living history group. So I try to improve things where I can. Right now, like I said, I'm looking for chainmail, a shirt, and a coif that I can wear. What I'm not wearing the helm this year, which I'll be doing a lot. I'm actually going to be doing the Odin thing this year and telling stories to the kids and things like that. Um, I'm going to try to make some maple candy to take with me and hand out to the kids and stuff. Trying to have some fun, trying to enjoy things a little bit. What in the Sam Bloody Hill? Oh, oh, it popped up top again, so nothing was going. Wow, it's 10 till 10 already. I cannot believe it is that late. We got two folks a watching and 10 minutes to go. That's not too awful bad, I guess. Hope hope Sarah and her kids are okay. Didn't see them this morning. Didn't see um, Zombie this morning. Didn't see Iron Dog this morning. I worry about folks when the weather gets to be this way. You just never know what other folks are going through when it comes to wintertime and the weather and stuff. Oh, let me see here. Are you feeling okay? Are you feeling okay, Drew? I'm I'm tired. I want to go back to bed, but I have got to call about my Try to find an optometrist today. I've got to get doctor's appointments set up. I have videos I'm working on uh, for the two channels. So I got to get all that done before I go and lay down. I've been up since like 2 minutes till 4. So yeah, I'm tired. I'm old. That's why I want to get to the doctor and get all this stuff taken care of. Oh, it is a holiday. No one will be open. Oh, good. It means I can go straight to bed. Yay, me. See, I told you 2026 was already looking up. Yay, me. I don't got to worry about making phone calls and stuff today. I got to do it all tomorrow. Oh man, I am ready for spring. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I had a decent, a decent tent, I'd camp in this just to prove that I still could. Believe you me, I know how to safely put a fire in a tent, even if it's not made for it. That's why I liked having my super wedge here a few years ago. Had the very peak at the front opened, had the very peak at the rear opened. The fire right in the center, right underneath the peak, which of course had a 10, 11, 12 foot roof on it. Peak. It was 16, 14, 16 feet wide. So I could put me a small fire pit in the center. The smoke would come up, wind would come in one side and blow it right out the other. And that puppy stayed warm. I've told you guys we did the last event held in Goshen, Indiana. Um, 5 medals, and I had that puppy set up, and I had on my Rocky Mountain Hunters coat, sitting out by my fire pit cooking bacon. I had 3 grown men crowded around a fire inside the tent trying to stay warm. So it don't bother me. That was about 5 years ago. That was about 5 years ago. Now the video is unsynced, synced with audio. Unsynced. Is it really? That's strange. Huh. It's still unsynced. How about that? I just refreshed, and I'm still 15, 20 seconds behind. That's crazy. Go figure. It's always something. God bless technology. Yeah, I don't know, Tony. That's a good question. You know, nice good question or good comment. Nice little question mark there. God only knows. Oh, let me see here. Um, Perhaps an ice jam. That's always a possibility. That's always a possibility. I'm a little last minute ha ha here. I'm waiting on them to get jammed. I guess I guess there was something going on uh, up there in Minneapolis last night where they were coming down a road and they were met with over 1,000 people standing on both sides of the road, and uh, I guess they backed up and went a different route, which I thought was really funny. That was on CNBC or something last night on TikTok. It showed them coming up, and uh, they were there was a bunch of them walking. There was vehicles in the background with their lights flashing and stuff. And the guy stepped out in the street, and the street was just lined with pedestrians on both sides of the street. And the trucks honked at the officers, and the officers backed up, and they went out in front of the trucks again and went down a side street. They completely avoided that neighborhood. Like, we are not sticking our pickerings in a food processor today. We're not going to do it. An ice jam. And who knows, it could be a regular ice jam. Like I said, it is coming down hard. It is coming down heavy. What's the temperature at right now? Temperature's still sitting at 11 degrees, and it is showing wind and snow. So we're probably real close to zero right now with the wind chill. Um, God only knows. God only knows. I was worried we were going to lose signal today because of the wind. It seems like whenever it's stormy, whenever it's windy, we lose our Wi-Fi signal, or we have, or our power flashes off and on, which kills our Wi-Fi. Been good today. Been good this morning. I'm not going to complain about it. I hate the thought of the military being sent in there. Did you not hear um, something else that was mentioned last night in President's speech? Um, he had mentioned Minneapolis and St. Paul and stuff and the trouble they were having. And I guess this unit in Alaska that he has on the ready to mobilize into Minneapolis, St. Paul, their commanding officers said they would not go. Said they would not go. They would not go to uh, police. So that is not their job. They are not. They are not a private police force. They will not go and fight American citizens. Not. They will not fight American citizens that are fighting for their constitutional rights. They won't do it. So I don't know what he's going to do now. I don't know. No clue. No clue. But yeah, the thought of having ICE and the U.S. military on one side, and the governor has already put the Minnesota National Guard on alert to come in to assist against ICE. And the U.S. military says they will not go against other soldiers. They will not do it. So, I don't know. They really have no choice if it is insurrection. Yes, see, he has to pass the Insurrection Act, but the U.S. military does have the right to deny moving in, or how was it they phrased it? They have the right to turn down any illegal orders, and they are not a police group. So I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I try to stay out of the stuff. I listen to it, I cry for the country, and I move on. That's all. That's all any of us can do. None of us. You can't change things are going to happen as they happen, and there's nothing we can do. The president can override the governor. Yeah, he can override them, but the soldiers aren't listening. They're listening to the governor. They believe the highest level of corruption in the federal government, and they don't want to follow any illegal orders. So I don't know. I don't know. God only knows what's going to happen. Like I said, I watch it whenever something comes across. I observe it. I weep for the condition of our country and everything that's going on, and I move on. That's all any of us can do. That is the thing. If it is insurrection, the order is not illegal. Yeah, I know. I know. But hey, it's that time. It is time for me to be like a baby and head out. Time to be like a tree in the fall and leave. Time for me to be like a bunch of crows and get the murder out of here. Time for me to be like a bunch of blue jays and get the flock out of here. Bunch of Canadian geese. It's winter time. Time for me to be like a bunch of Canadian geese and get the flock out of here. So we will try to do this again next Monday morning, 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those of you tuning in late and listening to this, do not forget to check out and subscribe to Paranormal Papa Investigations. That is our other channel, and we're trying to get that thing grown. You know, I'm putting a normal video out every Wednesday, putting a podcast episode out on Friday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go over and check it out. I've been getting a lot of good comments about it. I've been getting a lot of good emails about it. I've been getting a lot of good, because I share all the videos and everything on Facebook. So I've been getting a lot of new friends and stuff on my Facebook and my Facebook Messenger, commenting about it, giving me ideas, suggestions, etc. Let me see here. I am one who thinks that the troops should never deploy within our borders. 'Cause our borders are open. 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 'Cause our bord with the exception of invasion from foreigners. See, that's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. The same as, I feel like, ICE is ICE, Border Patrol is Border Patrol. You know, they should be patrolling the border, not private policing where they shouldn't be. So, as of our military should be there to defend our country. I think a lot of people have forgotten that when we swear in as a soldier, we swear to protect the Constitution of the United States and we swear to protect the people of the United States. Nowhere do we swear to protect the government of the United States, the Constitution, and the people. And I think a lot of people have forgotten that. But I'm out of here. Things I got to get done, and I have got to get back to bed. So until next Monday, y'all take care of yourselves, take care of each other. God bless you. God love you. You're still typing. Obama deported many times more than Trump has. No one said a thing. I don't think it's the idea of how many are getting deported. I think it's more of how it's happening. Obama, when it was under Obama's control, it wasn't as violent and there wasn't as many American citizens. The thing that really, this is the last thing and then I'm out of here. The thing that really pissed me off was that minister, standing outside his church saying he was praying for everybody. He was praying for the citizens. He was praying for ICE. He was praying for guidance, you know. And they told him to go back in his church, and he says, "I'm praying." And they drew a gun and they stuck it in his face. And they said, "Are you afraid?" And he said, "No." And then they put him in handcuffs, put him in the back of an ICE truck for an hour, opened the door up, and asked him if he was afraid yet, and he said no. And the minister himself was telling that story, and it was covered on all of the news outlets, including the ones that are mostly Republican. So I don't know. We'll see what comes of it. But, like I said, just pray for ourselves, pray for our country, pray for our family, our friends, and our loved ones. And it's going to end, whether it's a good ending or a bad ending, or the ending we want or the ending we don't want. Um, we'll just see. So, um, yeah. But you guys all take care, and we'll see you next week, Monday morning, 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another round. So, y'all take care. We'll catch you later.